Growing up, I always believed that my parents knew what was best for me. And if I kept listening to them, I would grow up to be a very successful woman. With many parents, this can actually be the right thing to do. But as I grew up, I realized that I was not fortunate enough to have parents like that. I'm writing this post because I'm in a deep dilemma, and I'm in need of some advice on what I should do, exactly. The same parents who kicked me out of the house for a reason you would not believe are trying to kick me back into my life years later. Yeah, I know. I guess I should explain everything from the start. So I'm 29. I've built a very successful business all by myself. But I never intended to do this. I was forced to. Ever since I was young, I always wanted to run a business. Both my mom, Mary, and father, Bruce, have been running the family business for a very long time. They were my inspiration, so to say. Well, growing up, we never had any financial problems because the family business did pretty well, and my parents kept pushing to grow it further. As I got older, I noticed a problem, you see. The amount the business was making was a lot less than how much my parents were getting used to spending. They had literally grown too fond of the luxurious lifestyle, and I had to keep reminding them that this was the way that the money would not be enough for us, and we'll soon run out of it. Also, I went on to believe that if they spent less, they could use the money to grow the business more, but they disagreed with me. They believed that they were working hard to live a lavish life, and I could never ever win against them. I mean, my parents were literally the ones who took the business from a struggling state to a very successful one. So I respected their choice and believed that they could do it. I mean, now you can probably understand why I believed that, and I would become successful if I listened to them. They let me pursue my interest, and I always told them and my uncles, who also worked in the family business, that one day I would take over all this. My plan was to become even better at business than my parents and take our family business to a new height that it's never reached before. Since I'd seen my parents work so hard growing up, it was my dream to let them live a life of luxury while I worked to build the business better. Although my parents never told me that they wanted me to take over the business from them, I knew they believed in me. I knew it. I went off to college to finish my education, and just a year into college, the problem in my life started. Firstly, my parents started being a little too concerned with my dating life, as previously they had no interest in it. I believed that it was a bit weird for them to care so much about who I was dating, but I let it go since I thought they were just being protective. I was dating a guy then, and they did not seem very happy with it. A few months later, we broke up mutually, and my parents almost celebrated me being single again. Their obsession with my relationship was getting more and more weird. So I spoke to them about it, and they said that they were looking out for me. I still got the feeling that something was wrong, and I did not have to wait long to get the answers to that question. A little more than a month later, when I was having dinner with my parents, they showed me a photo of a guy that they knew who was my age. My father said that he had met him one day, randomly, and had connected on social media after. I thought it was cute that he had made a young guy his friend. I told him the guy was good looking. He then said that he was going to give me his contact information and wants me to talk to him. Well, obviously I started laughing at that, because I thought he was simply joking. But I soon realized, oh no, he's serious. He said that he liked the guy a lot and believed that he would make a great pair. I looked at my mom for a bit of help, but she said that she felt the same way. I told both of them that it was not how dating worked, and the fact that they were asking me made me want to date the guy even less. They acted like they dropped the thing then when I refused it, but they kept trying to push me into dating the guy every other day, and I just kept ignoring their pleas. And when they would ask, I lied about having another boyfriend, and my parents get really mad at me and ask me to leave him. Well, this makes me mad. So I told them I'm lying about the boyfriend, but they were crossing a line by trying to control my life. I asked them what all this was about, and they finally told me the truth. With a straight face, they said something so shocking to me that I could not even process it for a few minutes. Like it was a very normal thing, they tell me, that they were pushing me to date him so that it would make me get married easy. My mind refused to comprehend what I just heard, and my father had to repeat himself several times. I asked him what marriage he was talking about, and he said the one he and my mom had set up for me. I simply could not believe it. So I looked at my mom, expecting her to laugh and tell me that father is pranking us, but unfortunately she said that he's telling the truth. I get very mad at them and screamed about what right they have to fix me a marriage without my permission. My father said that he did not feel like he needed it because he thought that I would understand this position. So they explained that recently our business had not been doing well, and no matter how much they worked, they could not find a way to grow it. Well, finally, after several months of trying, they got into an agreement with another business for a collaboration that would help us grow a lot. I'd say the only problem was that they had to get me married to the owner's son. I asked what kind of stupid deal they've made, and my father said it's more like a final option. I told them that we could grow the business slowly, and they did not need to do things like this, but they had already set it in their minds to get me married. When I kept refusing, my father gives me an ultimatum. To either accept the marriage or he would kick me out of the family for betraying them, and he gave me a week to decide upon it. I cannot explain how betrayed I felt that my parents were essentially making a business deal out of me. Throughout the week, I begged them to let me finish my education, and even offered to drop out and help them with the family business. I actually promised them that I would grow the business with my own hands, and they just needed to trust me. But they said no. It was unbelievable hearing my mom, who has been my biggest inspiration, say that I alone could not do it, and that after marriage I could do it together with my husband. The week ended, and I told my parents that I was never going to consent to getting married for a business deal. As my father threw me out of the house, he said that he regretted not having a son. After that, my life was pretty much hell for a few years since I had to work multiple jobs to support myself through college. I lived with many roommates and really missed my family, but I never called them because they did not deserve it. After college, I started a small business, worked tirelessly for years, and turned it into a really successful one. I'd be lying if I said it was not hard, but I'm very proud of myself and very happy with what I've achieved. It's been almost 10 years since my parents kicked me out, and last week was the first time that they contacted me. So, last week, guys, I get a text message from my mom saying that she wants to speak to me in person. As you can probably guess, I ignored her message, but she kept texting me. Well, a few days later, she calls me and asks me to give her one chance to apologize for everything, and she said that she wanted to reconnect with me. I told her that I had no interest in it, but she refused to listen. My father is doing the same thing, and a few days ago, they even showed up at my office. I mostly work from home and travel for meetings, so I was not there. But my assistant is giving me crap for ignoring my old parents. I've kept ignoring them for an entire week, but I've understood that they will not let go until I stand in front of them and ask them to leave. What do? Do I see if they've actually changed and regret what they did to me? Or do I just send them away without even giving them a chance to explain themselves? Guys, I honestly just don't know what to do. I feel like I would regret it if I don't give them a chance to explain, but I also cannot forgive them for what they've done to me. I'm stuck, so please give me your help. Update number 1. Hey friends, it's been a week since my last update, and I want to thank you all for the advice. It did help me make a decision, but I still don't know if it's the one I made was right or wrong. Firstly, I want to make one thing clear: I don't like my parents. As I already mentioned last time, they completely broke my heart and kicked me out. Even though I ended up doing well, they were never once the ones to contact me or even tried to look for me. They just very easily cut me off from their life just like that. Well, my uncle, his son, Francis, who has been in contact with me since I got kicked out, used to tell me how they never even mentioned me. Plus, it's not like, I've forgotten everything that they've said to me, including the fact that my father was disappointed that I was a woman. The only reason I wrote the post in the first place was that I felt bad for sending them home without even hearing them out once. So after listening to your advice and talking it over with a few of my close friends, I came to the decision that I should listen to what they actually want from me before doing anything. So, I contacted my mom and told her to see my outside of my office. I wasn't going to give them an address, and I don't think I have to explain why, so a few days later, both my mom and father showed up, and we met at a nearby coffee shop. Both of them looked very happy to see me, but I did not feel the same. You see, they understood how I was feeling and started by apologizing for everything that they did. They said that they've regretted their decision and that everything they did was for our better future. My father told me that he was upset with me for not being able to see his vision and threw me out, which was obviously a mistake. He said that he had no right to do this and that he was going to spend the rest of his life regretting it. My mom said something similar, and I asked them why they wanted to reconnect with me now. They said that a few years after I was gone, they had desperately looked for me, but had only recently found me when my business became super successful. They said that they were very proud of what I've achieved and regretted not letting me into the business when I asked. They accepted all their mistakes and told me that they only want to reconnect. Although I wanted to say no, I agreed and told them that I wanted to do the same thing. They were very happy, and then I made an excuse that I had a meeting and left. The reason I agreed to stay connected with them was because they tried to lie to me immediately. I knew that they had never looked for me until recently because Francis would have told me about it. This tells me that they have not changed at all and probably have a plan. So before deciding on, anything, I want to know what they want from me first, and I will update you and let you guys know what happened. Update number 2. Hey guys, it's me. So, it's been over a week and I have to come clean about something. I already mentioned how I did not like my parents, and many of you probably got the feeling that I didn't want to help them with anything. Well, that's true. And honestly, I never even wanted to see them or talk to them about reconnecting or remaking our relationship. For me, that relationship has been toast for a long time now. Yes, my parents taught me a lot, but they also took a lot from me. They already kicked me out because of their greed, and since that very day, I've lost all respect and love that I've had for them. Now, the question remaining is, why did I meet them? The thing is, when my mom contacted me, it looked to me like an opportunity to pay them back for making me suffer. At first, I felt bad even thinking about it. I told myself that no matter what, they were my parents and I could not do this to them. But I could not simply let it go, either. And since they also kept trying, I got stuck in a dilemma. After a lot of back and forth with myself, I decided that if they had changed and genuinely wanted to connect with me, I would just cut them off. I thought that would be a good punishment, and if they had not and wanted something from me, I would do something that would hurt them a lot more, you see. This way, I could justify taking revenge on them for letting their greed become more important than me. So, after my last update, I slowly started communicating more and more with my parents in order to get them closer to me. It was clear to me that they also wanted to get close to me as soon as possible because they wanted something. I then spoke with Francis. Francis confirmed that they never looked for me and only started talking about me when I became successful. He also said that he believed that my parents were only there because the family business was doing very poor. According to him, my parents refused to change their lifestyle, which resulted in less and less money for the already suffering business. It was still running, but a few months ago they had to face a massive problem, and that's brought the family business close to shutting down. Since they had heard about my success, they decided to contact me at a last resort. Guys, the funny thing is, due to Francis, I already know that my parents truly believed that I betrayed the family, until they had to come to ask for my help. Now I'm planning on showing them what true betrayal looks like. Also, if you're about to tell me I should not do that, or if it's wrong, just don't. I already know, I don't care. If they never tried to use me, I would never have to do this. Chance at taking revenge? But I know for sure that they're only here for that, believe me. They deserve whatever is about to happen to them. I'll keep you guys updated. Update number 3. Hey guys, it's been almost 2 weeks now since my last update, and I think I have a good enough plan. After about 2 weeks, my parents finally decided that they have had enough and told me about their problems. Honestly, I was a bit surprised because they actually waited a lot longer than I had thought they would. I expected them to speak to me for 2 to 3 days and ask for my help, so they told me a sad story about how the business had readily declined and that they had let me go. They also told me that this was probably karma for what they did to me, and with tears in their eyes, they asked for my help. They conveniently left the part out where they had spent a lot of the business money on themselves, which was also one of the big reasons for the business not doing well. After hearing them out, I acted like I was thinking for a minute, and then agreed to help them. I told them that they were my family and I would do anything. Well, they ate it up very nicely, and I spent the entire next week planning what would be the best way to get what I wanted. By the end of the week, I had a pretty good plan, and I invited my parents to my home to explain it to them. I told them that the best way to help the family business would be to collaborate with my business, as it would help keep it afloat for a lot longer. Then we could work on something together that would get it back on its feet, making it more successful than it ever was. Well, of course, guys, I can't do anything like that. And frankly, I don't even know if I can save the business if I try. But doing this helps me get to the main point of interest, which is the house. Obviously, they were very happy that I was going to help them save the business and would provide resources from my own company. Then I told them that there's a problem. My company could not collaborate with them until they could pay the company a sum I knew they could not accumulate. They obviously said that they don't have that kind of money, and I gave them a solution to their problem. I told them that I would provide the money, but for everything to look legit, we need to do a transaction that we could reverse after a few months. We were brainstorming, and I subtly suggested that they could sell the house to me, and they thought that it was a great idea. So Mom and Father discussed it for a minute and decided that it's the best option since I was their daughter anyways. Selling the house to me sounded like a great idea, and they did not even consider anything else. I was also very happy as we concluded our meeting. In a few weeks, they're about to hand over the house to me, and I can't wait to tell them the truth. I'll let you guys know what happens in the next update. Final updates. Hey guys, it's been close to 2 months now, and this is going to be my last update. Let me continue from where I left off. So, a little more than 2 weeks after my last update, my parents officially handed over the house to me, believing that I was going to save the family business. They were very happy doing it, praised me nonstop, and told me how wrong they were for kicking me out. I told them that they did not need to worry about that since I had already forgiven them for it. I also showed them a fake contract I made and told them that I was going to make it official in a week. I told them that I would come to our family house and give them the good news, and I asked them to wait. Honestly, it was harder for me to wait than it was for them. But they happily waited, and a week later I showed up at the house and my parents were ready to celebrate. They had even invited a few of their rich friends to join in on the celebration. But guys, in the end, I felt a little bad for them, but I knew I can't back out now. It was pretty awkward for the guest, as they had to witness my parents' mental breakdown when I told them the truth. So this is how it went. As soon as I entered the house, I tell my parents to pack their bags and move out. They obviously felt like I was joking because they laughed until they realized, oh no, I'm serious. I then told them that everything I had told them was a lie, and that I was not going to help them with anything. It looked like they had seen a ghost, and my father starts to beg me, saying, please don't do this. I told them it was already done, and I had no intention of ever helping them, and my mom starts to cry. Well, the guests leave at that point, and about an hour later, I was forcing my parents out of the house by threatening to call the cops. When my father was leaving at last, I told him that I wished I had better parents than them. And honestly, it felt very satisfying if I'm being real. It's been almost a month since I kicked them out, and I had to block their numbers because they just kept calling me. A few days ago, I learned that my parents had gone bankrupt, and the business had gone down. For anybody wondering, I've invited my uncle and my cousin to come work for me if they want to, and hopefully they will accept. So that probably covers everything since I have no idea where my parents are now, and I don't care enough to check. Lastly, thank you guys for all the advice. Well, sometimes in life you have to go down and get down and dirty with the rest of them.